Hello, my dear students. So, this is the continuation of our previous class wherein we have discussed about the author, about the poet James Kirkup. The poem No Men Are Foreign, which is written by James Kirkup. This is the image, and I told you about his biographies. And he was born in 1918, and he was a prolific English writer, English poet, and he was a translator. He was a travel writer, and I have mentioned many notable works of him here. Then this poem is against, or this poem protest against the xenophobia. That means xenophobia means fear of foreigners, and this poem is against racial hatred and unfair. And it's basically an anti-war poem, and the poet expresses the horror and brutality of all the war here. So we can move into the stanza-wise explanation of the poem. So the first stanza is like this: Remember, no men are strange, no country is foreign. Beneath all uniforms, a single body breathes. Like ours, the land our brothers walk upon is earth like this, in which we all shall lie. So here we can see from the first line itself that he emphasizes that remember, no men are strange, no countries foreign. So from the first line itself, he emphasized that no men are strange. The poet says that no men are strange and no country is foreign. So he is actually attempting to remove the borders from the earth, which actually have been erected to separate different countries. So that was actually an imaginary boundaries, imaginary borders are there. So he tried to convince the audience or convince the reader that no men are strange, everyone is alike, no country is foreign. So here we have soil, we have trees, we have natural resources, everything. So in the same way, the other country also has. So there is no difference between these countries. Everything or everyone and everyone is alike. So no men are strange. And he says, beneath all uniforms, a single body breathes like ours. He says, beneath all uniforms in the sense, man actually, each and every man has blood inside, organs, and features, everything is alike. There is some differences in skin, some differences in the shape of nose, eyes, etc. That is because of the geographical differences. But beneath all these things, we all have same organs, we all have blood inside. The color of the blood is red. So everything, we all breathes, we all we have heartbeats, we have all the functions that is alike. Everyone is same. There is no difference between human beings. So beneath all uniforms, a single body breathes. So here in this line itself, the poet is adoring the universal brotherhood, that we are all same. He emphasizes we are all same. The land our brothers walk upon is earth like this, in which we all shall die. Okay, so he says, um, we will feel every country as our own land when there will be no borders, right? So if there is no borders, if there is no borders created by the man or imaginary borders, we will feel that every country is our own land. Earth is our mother land, and everyone will be free to move around. So this was the concept that James Kirker was trying to put forward. So the poet wants to say that the entire earth is one, and all the people who live on this earth belongs to one human race. That is true, and he emphasizes that. Then he says, inside the uniforms, inside the uniforms worn by the soldiers of different countries, the soldiers wore a uniform that symbolizes their country. So he says the inside the uniforms of the soldiers, even though they are from different countries, they're all human being, right? They're all human being, and God has made all of us in a similar way, right? We have to think about that God has made everyone is alike, all breathes in the same way. Then he says that all the soldiers are our brothers. We all walk upon the same mother earth, and upon our death, what what shall happen? We will lie in the grave in the same earth, right? So when a person dies, he will lie in the grave. That is in the same earth. There is no difference. Even though he is from other nation, or he is rich, he is poor, he is whatever. At the end, everyone lies in the grave in the same earth. So, poet remembers, he tried to emphasize these things and impart these things to the audience and into the readers, that we are all alike. Okay, so remember, no men are strange, no country is foreign. Beneath all uniforms, a single body breathes. Like ours, the land our brothers walk upon as earth, like this, in which we shall all lie at the end when we die. Okay, so in the second stanza, he says, They they too aware of sun and air and water, are fed by peaceful harvest, by wars long winters starved, their hands are ours, and in their lines we read a labor no different from our own. Again and again, he emphasizes the similarity, he emphasizes the universal brotherhood here. He says, They too aware of sun and air and water, and they are fed by peaceful harvest. By vows long winter they are starved. Their hands are ours like ours, and in their lines we read, a labor not different from our own, he says. Here they refers to those people who belongs to other countries, right? They means the people from other countries. We call them foreigners, and we discriminate them and fight with them also, right? So we call them others, that we call them foreigners, and we always try to discriminate them, and we find reason to fight against them. That was actually happen. And the poet says that nature, our mother nature, the nature has given all the boundaries to all people, or also just like he has given to us, right? So he has equally divided everything to everyone. We have access to natural resources like others, and everyone gets sunlight in the same way, or we get air, we get water, all we get all these things in a equal measures, right? That means God does not differentiate between people and different countries, but we, the human being, are actually doing these things. We are responsible to these things, to these different differences, or we are the reason for this wars. God always tried to give everything equally to us, but actually, we human beings are actually creating barriers and creating boundaries, and they always try to find reason to fight against. Okay, so they means the people from other countries, the foreigners. They too aware of sun and air and water. So they get sun, they get sunlight, they get water, they get air like us. And they are fed by peaceful harvest. So during harvest time, they are fed by peaceful harvest means they got everything in harvest time, and during wars and winter they starved like us. We have also bad times during this winter and during wars. The same way they also suffer, right? Their hands are ours. They have hands and like us, just like us. And in their lines we read, a labor no different from our own. So everyone is alike. Again and again the poet says everyone is alike. And he adds that the way we starve during wars and winter is the same for those belongs to other countries. That means the way we starve during wars and winter, in the same way the people from other countries also suffer during wars and during winter. So even they don't get food at that time like us. So we want to say that foreigners who belong to another country and we both are same. There is no difference. We are all alike. This is what the poet says. And then the poet says that even their hands are also same as us. They 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 work very hard just like we do. We also work very hard. We also have same hand like them. Here, through these lines, poet always try to convey to the reader that there is no difference between foreigners or between us. There is no difference. Again and again, he emphasizes that. And in the third stanza, he says, remember, they have eyes like ours that wake or sleep, and strength that can be won by love. In every land is common life. In every land is common life that's all can recognize and understand. Remember, they have eyes like ours that wake or sleep. The poet says that everyone has eyes like everyone, right? They have eyes like ours that wake or sleep, and strength that can be won by love. The poet asks the reader to remember something. What is that? He says that we should keep in mind that the people of another country, whom we think that they are other people, they are foreigners, they are different from us. This is the thought of us, right? He says, the God has bestowed us everyone with love, everyone with equal resources. Everyone has similar appearances. God has given us eyes, God has given us hands, legs, nose, ears, everything like others. Everyone is like same. So we wake our eyes when we awake and we close our eyes when we are asleep. The same way other people do. Similarly, He has given the strength which can win through love. He says, every country, every place is similar. Okay, so the poet emphasizes that we have to remember one thing, that each and everyone is same, each and everyone is alike. There is no difference between people, there is no difference between countries, so there is no need to differentiate them from us. We are all alike. He glorifies universal brotherhood here. And in the last line, in the fourth stanza, he says, let us remember, whenever we are told to hate our brothers, it is ourselves that we shall dispose, betray, condemn. Remember, we who take arms against each other. Where is that? Okay. So let us remember, whenever we are told to hate our brothers, it is ourselves that we shall dispose, betray, contemn. Remember, we who take arms against each other, it is the human, okay, each other, it is the human earth that we defile. So there is also one line here, okay, I have missed it. It is the human earth that we defile. So here he says, let us remember, whenever we are told to hate our brothers, it is ourselves that we shall dispose. So when someone asks us to hate others, when someone asks you to hate others, don't do that, because it is ourselves. When we hate others, when we obey the words of others and hate others, it is actually, we are actually doing what? We are actually hating ourselves. We are actually betraying ourselves. So don't do that. This is what he says. And he says, he remembers, he tried to emphasize again that who take arms against each other, who will actually, what they are doing, they are actually defiling the human and defiling the earth, Mother Earth. This is what he says. The point again and again says that we should remember one thing, that whenever someone tells us to hate a person, or whenever someone tells us to hate another country, and whenever someone asks us to think him or other country as our enemy, we don't do that. We never try to understand that when we do so, we actually cheating ourselves and we condemn ourselves. And he says that we should stay away from such negativity. We have to spread positivity. We have to spread universal brotherhood. We should not consider anyone to be our enemy. He says we should not consider anyone to our enemy. We have to love everyone. We have to learn that how to love others. Never try to see anyone as our enemy. That is a negative thought, and that will spread, or that will actually defile ourselves. So spread positivity, spread love, and spread universal brotherhood. So during a war, both parties, both the people from each side, they will also they have lost, right? They will lose their fathers, they will lose their family members, and many economic problems will happen. So both the countries or both the side will affect badly. So you have to fight against these wars. Say no to wars. And that is why the poet says the war is not a good thing. And he says whenever we pick a weapon against someone, we are actually picking something against our earth, against ourselves. Okay? So it is the human earth that we defile. Our hell of fire and dust outrage the innocence of air that is everywhere our own. Remember, no men are foreign and no countries strange. This is the last stanza. He says we should keep in mind that whenever we pick weapons against any person, we are actually making our earth dirty. Okay? Whenever war happens, it leads to a lot of bloodshed, fire, death, collapses, everything, damages, everything in each side. So, we should not take weapons against each other. We should not defile our earth. We should not make our earth dirty. This is what he says. Okay? Our hell of fire and dust outrage the innocence. Innocent people will affect. Okay? During war everyone suffers of air that is everywhere our own. The air is precious, the water is precious, the natural resources, all thing, everything is precious. Then when war happens everything will be damaged, everything will be become dirty. So say no to wars. Remember, no men are foreign. You have to remember one thing, that's no men are foreign and no country is strange. So when you think like this, when you understand that we are all same, we are all alike, we are all the son and daughters of this earth, then there will be no war, then there will be peace, there will be love. So he says, spread positivity, spread love. This is all about the poem. Is that clear? Okay. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask me. Okay.